Greetings Canadians, and welcome to my version 255 quality of life and mechanics update video for the Rider Die patch. Once again, to those who forgot or didn't watch the one before this video and its series is just a way for me to read up on the quality of life and mechanics for each patch. That way I can learn about the things that were added and hopefully share it with some of you who actually skip over the portion of the patch notes and only aim for the events. Also, take note that these are just highlights and some things may be missed, as for some reason when things come to GMS, they just tend to not include them in the patch notes for some reason. To get us started, we have some skill changes. Quite a few skills have actually been converted to passives, which actually frees up some space on the auto buff sections of our pets. Those skills are the following: all of the Maple Warrior skill variants, Decent Speed Infusion, and Decent Advanced Blessing. Not only that, but the Goddess Blessing skills of all skills have no longer have stack charges, but they are now a 2-minute cooldown skills with a single charge up. The last of the skill changes are that Soul Janus and Dusk no longer activate for the following skills. Feel free to pause this portion of the video as needed, as there's a long list, or check out the full list at your leisure in the patch notes in the link below. Another great quality of life change is the level up flow for pre-level 200 progress has been improved. There's now an entire series of main quests for characters under level 200 that have had their EXP amounts adjusted for the better, making the speed in which you get from level 0 to 200 much faster. And to continue on this positive note, we have the Collector's Request. There is now no longer any need to have a Wild Hunger or Dormiel anymore, as their beneficial buffs have been combined into 2 different potions that you can easily buy for a mere 2 million mesos. And next on our list is the Intense Power Crystal Revamp. Unfortunately, we end up with this annoying change. Sure, the meso value for some bosses were increased and none were reduced, but now we're forced to spread out our boss meals at the minimum of 15 in order to get to the maximum per week. And furthermore, this change of course does not come with the removal of the link skill removal cost, making this change not really a nerf or a buff, but just plain annoying. And now for a bit of a more positive note, familiars have made their way to Hotel Arcus. As of recently, familiars are slowly making their way up to the Grandis region, and having finally reached the Hotel Arcus expansion, we now have the next familiar badge for that region, and that is, it provides 1% magic attack and 3% IED. Another big update is to the boss and monster changes. The first on the list of boss changes is to Chaos Road Abyss, and those being, you no longer need to have those stupid keys to go into the boss fight. In fact, the NPC who gives you those keys is just straight up gone. Man was fired. And the last of the changes to Chaos Road Abyss is that you no longer need to complete 5 kills of the normal Road Abyss bosses to access the Chaos Road Abyss version of the bosses. And unfortunately, you still need 20 kills, which means 20 weeks of each boss in order to get the title. They haven't changed that yet. And a change I've been really enjoying is the fact that we no longer need to exit the boss lobbies after killing bosses. We can literally just change maps while still in the previous lobby after you finished a boss. And the next change is the arrival of the ability to skip boss cutscene by pressing the escape button twice while in said cutscene. Do take note though that it is currently bugged, and if this feature is used, the skill cooldown for this boss will be broken a bit and they'll be able to spam their attacks a bit more. And the last of the changes to the bosses is their loot room. Any items of high value or note will be highlighted on the floor with a pillar of light to show you where they are when they're on the floor. And the next on the quality of life changes is the changes to Monster Park itself. And those being are the fact that the free entry count has been reduced from 2 down to only a single entry. But the EXP for each entry has been doubled, so this removes the need to do 2 per day, although it's still better to do more simply because the metal requirements has not been reduced either. So another negative for the Monster Park fact is that the cost for the passes are now doubled for both the NX cost and the mesos cost. And the last of the Monster Park changes is the fact that both Monster Park and Monster Park Extreme are given a new UI. I'd like to show you the Monster Park Extreme one, but that one is bugged right now. And the next big addition to this update is the Maple Planner. Maple Planner is essentially a super handy to-do list and tracker for all your dailies, weeklies, bosses, and other niche stuff. It also comes with the ability to accept all their dailies, and that also includes the Air Request mission, but also to turn them all in at once as well. Moving forward on our list, we have the V-Matrix changes. We all now have 5 more default node slots, making just about every class, if not every class, the ability to use all their nodes for their boostables or decents, and allowing you to utilize even the useless decent skills for their passive all-stat values. And not only that, but we can now craft perfect tri-nodes at the cost of 500 node shards each, making the task of having to roll a set of 4 or 6 boost nodes on your mules a far simpler task. And the last of the V-Matrix changes are that you can now extend the duration of your special nodes such as Fatal Strike, Character Building, Boss Slayer, and Rune EXP, and all the others. This is actually far cheaper than crafting new ones, so be sure to lock in a set of your commonly used nodes and just re-extend them whenever you need them. The last of the big changes are the item quality of life changes. Still active Legion drop and Meso coupons no longer get deleted from your buff bar when you log off or get disconnected. Androids now have been given the ability to equip more NX items, and that also includes weapon covers too for some reason. And the max drop rate has been increased from 400 to 500% maximum in anticipation for the next update. Ring box openings can now be viewed in the chat box when open with party members, and that way you can make your buddies annoyed when you get something good and they don't. Lastly, classes that were previously unable to buy or obtain a second gold emblem for their class can now do so from the secondary weapon merchant, Neville's shop. And now for some little tidbits and miscellaneous on our long list of changes are the following. A change to the UI is the fact that you now have a specific transparency adjustment for androids and pets. And a change to the Genesis Weapon Liberation quest, you now have a designated UI for it instead. A much needed change to the Genesis Weapon Liberation, you no longer need to pick up a remnant. Remnants are no longer needed. That way, no one can ever forget a month and be behind by a month because of that reason. And a somewhat acceptable change is the fact that the Lucid's Liberation mission is changed to being able to only use 50 use items in general. This doesn't directly solve the problem where Legion drop coupons weren't able to be used at the loot room, but this technically sorta fixes it so long as you don't spam your use potions. And a really good change is to the 6 job quest itself. You now only need to do 10 bill instead of 50 bill EXP for each stone, making it literally 80% faster. I would have loved to have this change before I liberated 9 characters, but okay, next on. And another change is the Guild Castle revamp. You now have more incentives to do Guild Castle as they now have Earth of Fragments in them as possible rewards. Another change is to the exceptional enhancement changes. All the items have been changed into hammer-shaped items for the respective items, including the fact that you're now able to extract the enhancement and then move it to another item if needed. And the last of our list is Epic Mountain. You can now spend 10,000 Maple Points to skip doing the dungeon itself for that week to get the rewards right away. And there's also now a bonus EXP multiplier at the cost of Maple Points. And to my knowledge, this multiplier can only be utilized in interactive worlds and not heroic. If I'm wrong, please let me know down in the comments and I'll correct this in the description. And the last of the changes is one of my favorites as well. You can now bulk add hyperstat levels rather than clicking them one by one. Hi everyone, Peanut here again. Sorry that this video took so long, I was too busy with a bunch of other videos I had to take care of. But at the very least, I hope this video was helpful. If there's anything I missed, please remember that some of the changes were just outright not covered in the patch notes. An example of which is that the last detail of being able to add bulk levels to hyperstats, that one wasn't even in there. I had to discover that on stream. But if there's anything else of importance I missed, feel free to let me down in the comments and I'll be sure to list them in the description for everyone to be able to see. And with that being said, thanks for watching and continued support. I'll hope to see you all in the next video. Bye!